Is this crazy, fast-moving, stressful world driving you bonkers? I can tell you, you are not alone. There are a lot of people who have problems to cope with the speed of how things evolving, developing, and it often gets the brain into constant alert mode, increasing anxiety, increasing depression. So self-care and health and wellness are even more important in our time and age. So in today's episode of Exploring Brain and Mind, I'm starting a 2-part journey into meditation and mindfulness. And I'm sure you have heard those words more than often, especially if you're already in the field of health and wellness or even in self-development and leadership. And we even had a guest before on one of the previous episodes of the podcast. That was Craig Gilbert. He was talking about mindfulness and how it helped him to improve his life. But what I'm doing today in this first episode of the 2-part meditation and mindfulness series is that I want to give a little bit more insight into the basics. I'm looking a bit into the rich traditions, practices, and scientific backing for both, because there is a huge body of research emerging about benefits of mindfulness and meditation, or meditation and mindfulness. So in this first part, we will explore what meditation and mindfulness really are, where they come from, and how you can begin to integrate them into your own daily life. Let's start our journey into the episode with looking at the 2 core concepts. First meditation and then mindfulness. I know they're sometimes really intermingled with each other and one thing seemingly referring to the other at the same time. Let's start with meditation. So meditation covers a broad range of practices aimed at training attention and awareness. At its heart, it's about cultivation of a calm and stable mind, and not about stopping thoughts, but about changing your relationship to your thoughts. Techniques include breath awareness, mantra repetition, and visualization. While many people approach meditation for relaxation, the purpose goes deeper really, strengthening skills like concentration, insight, and self-understanding. And goals can vary from relaxation to spiritual enlightenment. So meditation can go far beyond relaxation, and there are some different techniques for that. While relaxation is a common outcome, meditation is fundamentally about training the mind, and there are different meditation styles that can target specific mental skills. For example, the samatha meditation focuses on concentration, focusing attention on a single point, like the breath, for example. And the purpose of that is to cultivate mental stability. Then there is the vipassana meditation, that is for insight. So observing the changing nature of thought, feelings, and sensations is the focus to gain a deeper understanding of oneself and reality. And then there is meditation for the purpose of visualization, very often used in manifestations, in goal setting, even personal development is a really big space for visualization meditations. And the purpose of that is creating mental images to cultivate positive qualities and or the achievement of specific goals. The important point to remember is that meditation is not about stopping thoughts, it's about changing our relationships with them. Very often it is letting the thoughts come and go again, which can happen within seconds or fractions of seconds sometimes, but not holding on to them or judging them or letting a thought stop you and get you into some sort of downward spiral. The key is to let the thoughts come and go. Let the thoughts come, accept them, let them go, and invite the next one in. As I say, it can go in a really fast. Don't hold on to them. Just let them go. Don't judge them. Let them flow on. And that brings us to mindfulness. What is mindfulness about? Mindfulness is a specific type of meditation that emphasizes present moment awareness without a judgment. It involves paying attention to thoughts, feelings, and sensations as they arise without getting carried away by them. Mindfulness is really a quality of being and not just a practice. And that's true because there is much more to mindfulness than simply meditation. The way of being encompasses more. Mindfulness empathizes bare attention, observing experiences as they arise without adding any interpretation, reactions, or even meaning. Mindfulness involves cultivating acceptance, acknowledging experiences without resistance. It involves cultivating curiosity, approaching experiences with openness and interest, and it involves cultivating equanimity, maintaining a balanced and peaceful mind, even in the face of challenging emotions and situations. And as I said, mindfulness is also a way of being. So mindfulness can be applied to all aspects of life, from eating and walking to communication and work. So despite them being mentioned separately, meditation and mindfulness, they are both really heavily interlinked. And the key point is when you sit and meditate, then it's important to let the thoughts flow, let them come, let them go without judgment, without interpretation, without attaching any meanings or without any reactions. It's not necessarily easy, and I'm speaking from experience because it took me ages to get into meditation. I find it hard to sit still for a longer time. And I find guided meditations really helpful. But I wonder if that's something to do with me being very much into structure and having some instructions. That's my left brain working. What I want to look at next is the historical background of meditation and mindfulness. The roots of meditation go a long, long way back. They stretch back to Hinduism and Buddhism, which are ancient Eastern traditions, mainly from India. Early references to meditations can be found in the texts of the Vedas of ancient India. Buddhism in particular played a huge role in spreading meditation across Asia. Mindfulness, as we understand it today, is deeply tied to Buddhist teachings, especially the Satipatthana Sutta, which describes the four foundations of mindfulness being the body, feelings, mind, and mental objects. Over time, different Buddhist schools have developed different unique approaches to mindfulness, such as the Japanese Zen meditation or Zazen and the Tibetan Buddhist practices. In the 19th and 20th centuries, Western interest in these traditions grew, and teachers like Jon Kabat-Zinn helped bring mindfulness into secular spaces. His mindfulness-based stress reduction program is now a cornerstone of modern practice. And Kabat-Zinn's mindfulness-based stress reduction program you may sometimes see abbreviated as MBSR. The scientific study of meditation and mindfulness has increased significantly in recent decades, proving and validating their benefits. Neuroscience shows that meditation increases grey matter in areas of attention and emotional regulation. It also reduces the amygdala's activity. Remember the amygdala, the internal warning system, or the brain's fear center. And meditation supports neuroplasticity, which is our brain's ability to change and adapt. These findings, this evidence has made meditation and mindfulness more accessible beyond spiritual traditions. It's very often found in mental health settings or mental health approaches. Let's look at some structures and techniques, like, for example, a basic mindfulness meditation. It's really nothing complicated. It's very simple to do these. Find a quiet and comfortable space. The more quiet, the better. Comfortable can be either sitting down or lying down in a relaxed posture. There are no rules that tell you to sit cross-legged on the floor or on some meditation cushion, or you can do this everywhere and anywhere in a quiet space. Most people like to close their eyes when they do that. Whatever you choose will be okay. Focus your attention on your breath. If it's fast, if it's slow, if it's deep breaths or shallow breaths. Noticing the sensation of inhalation and exhalation. And when your mind wanders, which it will, I guarantee you that it will, gently bring your attention back to your breath and focus on your breath again. Observe the thoughts and feelings that are coming up without judgment. As I mentioned before, let the thoughts come in, let them sit there, invite them to come in, accept them as they are, and they will go again very quickly as well. The purpose of the meditation is to just sit and pay attention to what's happening within you, within your thoughts, within your emotions. There are some other meditation techniques that are a bit more advanced, maybe. They might include a bit more guidance, like the loving kindness meditation, the metta or metta bhavana, I think I remember it as, from the Buddhist Center in Glasgow when I was introduced to those years ago. The metta meditation is meant to cultivate feelings of love and compassion towards oneself, towards others in your closer environment, but also compassion for others around the world. Then there's walking meditations. They bring mindfulness to the act of walking. What is included there is paying attention to nature, to the elements of nature, the air, the sky, the wind, any rain, any warmth of the sun, colors of nature, the trees, any animals, any birds, sounds of birds, other things that you may notice. Then there's the body scan meditation, which is about paying attention to sensations throughout the body. For example, you can work your way up from your toes to the top of your head, checking in on every limb, on every organ, how each one of them feels, if it feels tense, relaxed, if it has any pain, if you feel any pain. And then there are other guided meditations. They are audio recordings that guide you through the meditation process. And things like the body scan and metta meditations or walking meditations, they can also be audio meditations. Some good apps actually for those are, I forgot now if Calm does meditations as well, guided ones, but I think they do. And then there's another one, Insight Timer, another app with a lot of different meditations. And then there's the solfeggio frequencies. That's another app that I have used for meditation purposes, but also other things. Some of the apps have also different stages. They've got a beginner's, intermediate, and advanced stage. Not each one of them, but some of them do. Then we've got advanced meditation practices, like, for example, the Vipassana, that was mentioned earlier as well. It's about observing the impermanence, suffering, and the non-self nature of experience. Then there's the compassion meditation. That's about cultivating empathy and kindness towards all beings. And an open awareness meditation. That's about allowing all experiences to arise and pass without focusing on any particular object. How to use mindfulness in specific contexts. This goes back to seeing mindfulness and using mindfulness as a way of being, integrating it into your way of being. So mindfulness can also enrich everyday activities. Mindful eating, that would be paying attention to the sensations of tastes, smell, of texture, maybe as well colors of your food, of your drink when you're eating. Mindfulness can be integrated in communication, as in listening with empathy and speaking with awareness, which is quite a bit different from just blurting out stuff as a reaction to something that you have been confronted with, or something that has just crossed your mind, crossed your path, and you strongly feel like you need to react to that. Mindfulness communication is quite a bit different, and active listening is a huge part of that. Mindful parenting is great. It is about bringing presence and awareness to interactions with our children. It's not always about rush, and having thoughts running 5 minutes ahead from where we are. I tried to teach that to my son. He was always like that when he was younger. His thoughts were always 5 minutes ahead from where he actually was and what he was doing. So he always misplaced stuff. He missed out on things that were happening in the present moment. So I was very keen to teach him some of the being in the present moment bit. And mindfulness in the workplace is a great thing to have as well. Mindfulness at the workplace can help to reduce stress and to improve focus and productivity. As we are living in a really fast-moving and developing and evolving world, there are challenges and considerations to keep in mind, because mindfulness and meditation are not a quick fix for all problems. It's very important to approach these practices with realistic expectations and especially patience. People with certain mental health conditions may need to seek guidance from a qualified therapist before practicing mindfulness. I have to add a little reminder here again, because as it was saying, it's not a quick fix. Let's go back to how the brain works. Because you can't learn something from doing something just once and once briefly. The brain needs to make new connections that are linked to the new activity. So what is important is to continue practicing. Start slowly when you start with meditation. Start with short ones. There are even, on some of the apps, there are even 1 minute ones to start with. Do those a few times. Then maybe move up to 3 minute ones. Then maybe 5 minute ones. And so on. Just gradually improve. But keep doing it, because if you stop doing it after 1, 2, 3 times, your brain will forget about the activity again, because you don't continue practicing. So it cannot continue growing and establishing the new neural connections that are needed to do the new activity of meditation. And if you find it difficult to really do meditations without guidance, try and find some guided ones, even short guided ones, at the apps that I mentioned earlier on, like Calm, Insight Timer, Solfeggio, Frequencies, and other ones that might not come to mind right now. I think Headspace is another one that is often mentioned. The benefits of a meditation and mindfulness are far-reaching. On the mental side, psychological side, meditation reduces stress, anxiety, and depression while boosting self-awareness and emotional regulation. On the physical side, it lowers blood pressure, improves sleep, and reduces chronic pain. And cognitively, it sharpens attention, memory, and creativity. And the best way to integrate it into daily life is really to do some mindful moments. You don't have to do the full-blown hour-long meditations and so on, but mindful moments alone can be really helpful during a day at home or during a work day, during the day with other people, even when you need a 5-minute quiet space. Integrate mindful moments, as we mentioned, when we are eating, when we're walking or making dishes, sometimes even washing dishes, doing laundry, doing ironing. Ironing is, I think, really great for mindful moments. Or gardening when you're working with plants or when you're working with animals. That could be great for mindful moments as well. Sitting down with your dog, walking your dog, sitting down with your cat, having a cat on your lap, letting it sit on your lap and purr and dig its little claws into your thigh. Yes, it pokes, but the purring, the vibrations from the purring, is that not something really calming? Of course, if you want to get into formal practice of meditation and mindfulness, you may want to set aside some dedicated time for meditations each day. As I said before, you don't need to start with the hour-long ones. Do some short ones, 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute. Build it up from there and don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't judge yourself for if you're doing it well or not. We all have days when it works better, and then we have days when it does not work so well, when the thoughts just don't want to stop nagging. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. That's all I can say, really. And finally, let's look at some ethical dimension to all this. There seem to be some critics that worry that mindfulness is sometimes used in ways that focus only on individual well-being while overlooking systemic issues, although I'm saying that despite ever having come across any of those critics. Mindfulness at its best encourages empathy and social justice, helping us not just to cope, but also to contribute positively to the world. And we should always acknowledge and respect the Eastern origin, as other cultures may not encourage commercialization or any kind of cultural misappropriation. Some cultures are okay, others are not. And even within a culture, it could be that there's one fraction that says, yes, you can, you're okay with using it and spreading it. And there's other ones that feel like it should be kept to their own. And to conclude the episode, meditation and mindfulness are much more than just relaxation techniques. They are ancient practices that are more and more validated by modern science. They are practices that can transform the way we relate to our own minds, our emotions, and the world around us. And as I mentioned at the beginning, there will be a second episode with regards to meditation and mindfulness. However, In that episode, we will go beyond the East-West narrative and explore how indigenous cultures across the globe have their own traditions that can mirror mindfulness and a meditation. There might be similarities. The practices may be different, but with similar focus and similar benefits. If you found the episode interesting, like and share it with others. And remember, if you haven't already subscribed to Exploring Brain and Mind, please do so on Apple, on Spotify, Amazon Music and YouTube, and download the episodes. Don't just share them, download them as well. I hope you'll be back next week.